most girls look really cute in them. I think I just look a bit like a farmhand. Hi and welcome to my channel. My name is Sarah and I love to talk about books. So today I'm coming to you in my dungaree dress. I don't know what you call this, like a pinafore? Dungaree with a skirt? I don't know, most girls look really cute in them. I think I just look a bit like a farmhand, so I've gone a bit extra and given myself some farm girl hair to go with it. But I just had to get out my jeans because I've not been wearing my office clothes for the whole of lockdown. I've just been alternating between the same 3 pairs of jeans and they were pretty done before lockdown anyway, and now 2 of them have worn away and split in the inner thigh. Big girl problems. And I don't think the 3rd pair are that far behind. So I decided to dig out some of my casual dresses. This is one of the only ones that still fits me after my weight gain of the past couple of years. So we're going for a different look today. And no, I haven't ironed. I don't think I've picked up an iron since March. And I definitely think that wrinkle-free clothes should be something that we do away with in the post-lockdown world. But anyway, enough about clothes, of which I clearly know nothing about. Let's get on to the books. So I have 9 books on my July TBR, which next week when I do my June wrap up, you'll see that that's probably not a good idea, but just going to go with it, see how I do. So I've got 4 challenge reads and then 5 new releases to get through as well. My first book is Zed, a novel of Zelda Fitzgerald by Therese and Fowler. I've never heard of the author before, but I'm fascinated by Zelda Fitzgerald. I haven't actually read any of her work, but I have read some of F. Scott Fitzgerald's work, including Tender is the Night, which I think is based on their marriage. I also started watching the Amazon series with Christina Ricci playing Zelda. For some reason I stopped watching it, but I'll probably pick that back up after I've read this book because I think Zelda Fitzgerald is so interesting. So this is a fictionalised account, but from what I understand it's really well researched and pretty true to fact. So Zelda was born into quite a wealthy family. She was a bit of a wild card. They call her like the original flapper, and she fell in love with F. Scott Fitzgerald. Before he'd even been published, he had big dreams of getting rich and famous from his writing. Her family disapproved of the relationship, but they got married anyway, and from what I can gather, it was quite a turbulent one. And it was that wild card element of her personality that kind of fed into her being seen as being mentally unstable. I think she probably did have mental health issues, but a lot of the treatment that she was given because of that was because she was a free spirit, because she didn't devote her life to her marriage. And I think this book goes some way to setting the record straight on Zelda, addressing some of the myths that are around her, and I'm really looking forward to reading it. So my next book is Margaret Atwood's Cat's Eyes. I've got it in this edition, which is an omnibus, and it's got cat's eyes and wilderness tips in it. It's got a bit of a dated cover on it. When was this one published? 1988, which you can kind of tell by the cover. I've read a lot of Margaret Atwood's books, I think probably about 8 of them now, and actually neither of the books in this omnibus are ones that I hear people mention very often. I hope that's not a bad sign, but it does have like 3.9 stars on Goodreads, so I'm holding out some hope. This is the story of Elaine, an artist who returns to Toronto where she grew up to do a retrospective of her work. But this plunges her into memories of her childhood, of a relationship she had with 3 other girls. But these memories don't sound like they're particularly positive, and she has to grapple with her own identity and memories of betrayal and longing. So this sounds right up my street. And next we have to go to my bookshelf to get Borrowed Light by Jules Denby. Now I've read another of Jules Denby's books a few years ago. It was called Billy Morgan, which was about kind of like an ex-biker chick who had been involved in a murder and her pastor caught up with her, and I absolutely loved it. So I'm really looking forward to this one. This is set in a Cornish, I think, yeah, a surfing village in Cornwall. This is the story of Astra, who has dropped out of college to look after her mum who is suffering with MS, and she's working part-time in her friend Connie's cafe, and everything seems to be going quite well until Connie's sister Angel turns up. She's beautiful and everyone falls in love with her, including Luke, who Astra is besotted with, and Astra's little sister. Jita, I think she's called. And the longer the angel stays, the worse the atmosphere becomes, until it just kind of explodes into a storm of violence. It doesn't really give much away beyond that, but I'm really looking forward to this, and given that I've enjoyed one of her books before, I think this one's going to deliver. And last for my challenge reads, I have The Women Upstairs by Claire Massoud. I think this must have been a recommendation from a podcast, because I don't think I'd have picked it up based on the title. It kind of sounds like it's one of these girl on the train, Gone Girl kind of books, but the description really sells it. So Nora is a former artist turned elementary, which I think is a primary school teacher, and she's kind of fallen into the groove of being the woman upstairs, which is like the loyal friend, you know, the helpful neighbour sort of type. She befriends a family after Reza, a new pupil to her school, is bullied in the playground for being a terrorist. She's drawn into this family. Skander is a Lebanese professor at Harvard, and his wife is an Italian artist called Serena, I think, and she finds herself kind of falling in love with this family, but her happiness is shattered by a devastating betrayal on the part of Serena. This sounds dark and compelling, so yes please. So onto my new releases. I have The Sea Wife by Amity Gaige, but I won't get into that here because it was actually on my TBR for June, so it's in that video, which I'll link in the description below. Also in that video is another book that I've kind of carried over, Across the Water by Ingrid Alexandra, so you'll find me talking about those in that video below. I've also got John Boyne's Traveller at the Gates of Wisdom, but I talked about that in my mid-year freakout video, so I'll also link that one down below and you can hear about that there. So also on my new releases TBR is In the Time of Foxes by Jo Lennan. This is a short story collection, and I think I chose it just because of the title. I really love foxes, but this is not a book about foxes. I think there's like an element where foxes link the short stories together, but I don't know how that's going to play out, so it'll be interesting to see. But it sounds like the characters in these stories are really varied. There's a film director in London, a cafe owner in Australia, there's a cult escapee in Japan, and a journalist on Mars. I find short story collections can be a bit hit or miss, so we'll see how this one goes. And finally I have The Butterfly Lampshade by Aimee Bender. I chose this because it seems to have a heavy mental health slant, but I'm actually having trouble describing it, so I'm just going to read the description from Goodreads. On the night her single mother is taken to a mental hospital after a psychotic episode, 8-year-old Francie is staying with her babysitter. There's a lovely lamp next to the couch on which she's sleeping, the shade adorned with butterflies. When she wakes, Francie spies a dead butterfly, exactly matching the ones on the lamp, floating in a glass of water. She drinks it before the babysitter can see. 20 years later, Francie is compelled to make sense of that moment and 2 other incidences. Her recall is exact. She is sure that these things happened, but despite her certainty, she wrestles with the hold these memories maintain over her and what they say about her own place in the world. So, maybe you can understand why I couldn't put that into my own words. I don't know if this is going to be a weird one or a really great one. I do have high hopes for it though. I just think it sounds really unique. So we'll see how I get on with that. If you do want to know what my thoughts are on all these books, then I will be doing my July wrap up at the start of August, so you can always check back then. But even better, why don't you hit the subscribe button? I put up bookish videos every Saturday morning, and if you've enjoyed this video, please hit the like button. It would help give me a little boost. What are you going to be reading in July? I would like to hear what you're up to, and have you read any of these books? Let me know what you thought. And until next time, I'm going to go and have me a hoedown. Bye! I put up big... Oh my god, why can't I say book?